Can you hear me?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان
Can you hear me?
الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم تر إلى الذين خرجوا من ديارهم وهم ألوف حذروا الموت فقال لهم الله موتوا ثم أحياهم. إن الله لذو فضل على الناس ولكن أكثر الناس لا يشكرون. وقاتلوا في سبيل الله واعلموا أن الله سميع عليم. من ذا الذي يقرض الله قرضا حسنا فيضاعفه له أضعافا كثيرة والله يقبض ويبسط وإليه ترجعون. ألم تر إلى الملأ من بني إسرائيل من بعد موسى إذ قالوا لنبي له ابعث لنا ملكا نقاتل في سبيل الله. قال هل عسيتم إن كتب عليكم القتال ألا تقاتلوا. قالوا وما لنا ألا نقاتل في سبيل الله وقد أخرجنا من ديارنا وأبنائنا. فلما كتب عليهم القتال تولوا إلا قليلا منهم والله عليم بالظالمين. وقال لهم نبيهم إن الله قد بعث لكم طالوت ملكا. قالوا أنى يكون له الملك علينا ونحن أحق بالملك منه ولم يؤت سعة من المال. قال إن الله اصطفاه عليكم وزاده بسطة في العلم والجسم والله يؤتي ملكه من يشاء والله واسع عليم. وقال لهم نبيهم إن آية ملكه أن يأتيكم التابوت فيه سكينة من ربكم وبقية مما ترك آل موسى وآل هارون تحمله الملائكة. إن في ذلك لآية لكم إن كنتم مؤمنين. فلما فصل طالوت بالجنود قال إن الله مبتليكم بنهر فمن شرب منه فليس مني ومن لم يطعمه فإنه مني إلا من اغترف غرفة بيده فشربوا منه إلا قليلا منهم. فلما جاوزه هو والذين آمنوا معه قالوا لا طاقة لنا اليوم بجالوت وجنوده. قال الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو الله كم من فئة قليلة غلبت فئة كثيرة بإذن الله والله مع الصابرين. ولما برزوا لجالوت وجنوده قالوا ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. فهزموهم بإذن الله وقتل داود جالوت وآتاه الله الملك والحكمة وعلمه مما يشاء. ولولا دفع الله الناس بعضهم ببعض لفسدت الأرض ولكن الله ذو فضل على العالمين. تلك آيات الله نتلوها عليك بالحق وإنك لمن المرسلين تلك الرسل فضلنا بعضهم على بعض منهم من كلم الله ورفع بعضهم درجات وآتينا عيسى ابن مريم البينات وأيدناه بروح القدس ولو شاء الله ما اقتتل الذين من بعدهم من بعد ما جاءتهم البينات ولكن اختلفوا فمنهم من آمن ومنهم من كفر ولو شاء الله ما اقتتلوا ولكن الله يفعل ما يريد يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا مما رزقناكم من قبل أن يأتي يوم لا بيع فيه ولا قلة ولا شفاعة والكافرون هم الظالمون الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي فمن يكفر بالطاغوت ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله سميع عليم الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور والذين كفروا أولياؤهم الطاغوت يخرجونهم من النور إلى الظلمات أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون ألم تر إلى الذي حاج إبراهيم في ربه أن آتاه الله الملك إذ قال إبراهيم ربي الذي يحيي ويميت قال أنا أحيي وأميت قال إبراهيم فإن الله يأتي بالشمس من المشرق فأت بها من المغرب فبهت الذي كفر والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين أو كالذي مر على قرية وهي خاوية على عروشها قال أنى يحيي هذه الله بعد موتها فأماته الله 100 عام ثم بعثه قال كم لبثت قال لبثت يوما أو بعض يوم قال بل لبثت 100 عام فانظر إلى طعامك وشرابك لم يتسنه وانظر إلى حمارك ولنجعلك آية للناس وانظر إلى العظام كيف ننشزها ثم نكسوها لحما فلما تبين له قال أعلم أن الله على كل شيء قدير وإذ قال إبراهيم رب أرني كيف تحيي الموتى قال أولم تؤمن قال بلى ولكن ليطمئن قلبي قال فخذ أربعة من الطير فصرهن إليك ثم اجعل على كل جبل منهن جزءا ثم ادعهن يأتينك سعيا واعلم أن الله عزيز حكيم مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة والله يضاعف لمن يشاء والله واسع عليم الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله ثم لا يتبعون ما أنفقوا منا ولا أذى لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون صدق الله العظيم. Does anyone have anything to comment on any of the verses that they saw?
I think you mentioned the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam when he gave da'wah to Nimrud, isn't it?
Yes.
Earlier. ألم تر إلى الذي حاج إبراهيم.
Yes, this one. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, you know, you can on this website I just discovered that you can actually get the tafsir for each of the verses up. So yeah, well, what is it you want to comment regarding this verse?
So no, I thought you could elaborate a bit on it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. So what I could do is now read the what the Ma'arif al-Qur'an says. So it says the verse refers to Nimrud, who was the king or the emperor of Babylon, and he denied the existence of God, and he debated with Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. Allah had given him a huge power of a large territory, which should have made him grateful to his Lord, but quite the opposite. His power instilled a lot of pride and arrogance in him, to the point where he started denying the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, so that's the context of ألم تر إلى الذي حاج إبراهيم في ربه, the one who, when the Qur'an says, the one who argued with Ibrahim about his Lord because Allah had given him kingship. So during the argument, he asked Ibrahim alayhi salam about the basic attributes or the basic characteristics of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To which he replied, my Lord is the one who gives life and brings death. إذ قال إبراهيم ربي الذي يحيي ويميت. The king didn't really understand the actual or the root of what is giving life and giving death. So he argued that he could kill anyone to his order and therefore bring death to him, and he can also spare a person who is sentenced to death and therefore give life to him, which was quite a stupid argument, because as the Sheikh says, giving life means to give life to something that is lifeless, and bringing death means power power which may remove the life from every living creature without a necessary intervention of an apparent cause. Meaning that without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can take someone's life without there being any apparent cause attributed to his death. So for example, someone is perfectly healthy and then he just collapses in a second and dies. That is really what the giving of death is. So when Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam felt, I'm reading from the text here, felt that his addressee is unable to understand the real nature of giving life and bringing death, he presented a different argument. He said, Allah brings the sun out from the east, now you bring it out from the west. In Arabic this is قال إبراهيم فإن الله يأتي بالشمس من المشرق فأتي بها من المغرب فبهت الذي كفر والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. So the king was made speechless basically. But even after the truth was clear to him, he did not accept it. Hence, this is why the Qur'an says, وَاللَّهُ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمِينَ. So is there anything else anyone else would like me to comment on? Anything else? Or is...
I think that was good, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, okay. Another reflection that I noticed is with in the verse of 246 and onwards, when it talks about King Talut. So it says, أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الْمَلَإِ مِنْ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ من بعد موسى إذ قالوا لنبي له مبعث لنا ملكا نقاتل في سبيل الله قال هل عليكم إن كتب عليكم القتال ألا تقتلوا. Yes, onwards. So basically in this verse they came up to the Nabi of the time, which was when I think it's Shamuel alayhi salam, Samuel. And they demanded that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring forth for them a king so that they may strive and fight in the sake of Allah. And he replied to them, well, what happens if you are given a king? Are you going to fight or are you going to back out? They said, what would make us قالوا وما لنا ألا نقاتل في سبيل الله وقد أخرجنا من ديارنا وأبنائنا فلما كنت Why would we not fight when we have been driven out of our homes and separated from our children? You have to remember this is in the context of, as there's an earlier ayah that says ضربت عليهم الذلة والمسكنة وباءوا بغضب من الله إلى آخر الآية, to the end of it. Because of their disobedience, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them suffer the oppression and the injustice of neighboring civilizations, neighboring peoples, which drove them out of their home. And in this context, they're saying, what reason would there be for us not to fight when these people specifically referring in this case to the people of Jalut, which were giants. When these people have driven us out from our homes and they've separated us from our children, why then would we not fight? فَلَمَّا كُتِبَ عَلَيْهِمُ الْقِتَالُ تَوَلَّوْا إِلَّا قَلِيلًا مِّنْهُمْ وَاللَّهُ عَلِيمٌ بِالظَّالِمِينَ. So when push came to shove, to put it in idiomatic terms, they were nowhere to be seen. Although they had promised to fight, they backed down. What we can get from this verse is that the Bani Israel are being blamed for a characteristic or a trait that a lot of us have, which is that we talk the talk, but we don't walk the walk. So it kind of shows us to just, before we say something, or before we, say that we're going to do something, to just make sure that we're actually going to do it. And the next verse is also very, very profound. قال لهم نبيهم إن الله قد بعث لكم طالوت ملكا قالوا أن يكون له الملك علينا ونحن أحق بالملك منه ولم يؤت سعة من المال.
له الملك علينا ونحن أحق بالملك منه ولم يؤت سعة.
Basically, this is saying that they're asking. So the Nabi Shamir alayhi salam says to them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent Talut alayhi salam to be your king. To which they objected by saying, how can he be our king when we are richer than him and more deserving of dominion and power? He replied, the Nabi Shamir alayhi salam replied, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen him over you and blessed him with knowledge and stature. Allah grants kingship to whoever he wills. So there's two things that we can extract out of this. Number one, as it says, Wallahu yu'ti mulkahu man yasha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give his kingship or power to anyone he wants. Any person. For example, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted, we can apply this to there's a very modern example would be the example of Donald Trump. Donald Trump would be something before 2016. Nobody would have ever thought of him as someone who could maybe be the president of the United States. Yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put that in his and everyone else's qadr, despite everyone else's predictions that he would not be able to do so. It's just one example of Wallahu yu'ti al-mulka man yasha, Wallahu wasi'un alim. Second thing is that wealth and other kinds of privileges that do not include knowledge and stature should not be considered as primary criteria when selecting someone for leadership. Because that person, although they may be wealthy or they may be, in their own view, more deserving, they will not be able to perform the job well. Who will be able to perform the job well is the one who knows what he's doing and the one who can lead a group of people, who has leadership skills. So, and there's also another hadith that to the effect of you should not, or there will come a time where leadership is given to the weak. Yes. And the lesson here is that we should give, whenever we have to appoint like an emir or someone who is head of a project in work or in uni, we should put our personal ego and our personal arrogance and our personal emotions aside and consider who is really best for this job. That's what I have to say, inshallah. Does anyone have any feedback? No? Brother Iftikhar? Brother Adeeb? Any feedback? All right. Yeah. Okay, Jazakallah khairan for your kind words.